Ladies and gentlemen, in this RedGamingTech.com video, we're going to be taking a look at the Steam sale deals. It's the 23rd of December, so not long now until we're at Christmas. Anyway, today's deals are a little bit like yesterday's. We've got a couple that are pretty good, but it's a fairly mediocre day to be honest. Anyway, we've got Chivalry, Medieval Warfare. I can honestly say that I've not played this game, but it scores okay from what I understand. It's 50% off, which makes it $9.49, so it's not terribly expensive considering it's, well, you know, a pretty good looking game. I haven't personally played it. There's not anything of it on the channel either. I'm just looking for the date of release. It's 16th of October, so somehow I must have just missed this one. Anyway, regardless, it's, you know, scores fairly well, but I can't really give you that much more information on it. It does look pretty cool, and it besieges castles, raids villages, and chivalry, a fast-paced medieval FPS with slash with multiplayer online focus. That's why I didn't cover it. It just didn't interest me. Fair enough. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Street Fighter for the Arcade Edition, or so say Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition 2012. What more is there to say about this one? It's Street Fighter 4. The game's been out for a while now, of course, and it's still extremely popular, particularly on consoles. I'm not quite sure what the scene is like on regular, on PC, should I say. Anyway, for the price, $8.74, it could be worth a punt, even if you're just playing with friends. I assure you, if you own the console versions and then you go to the PC versions, the difference is quite substantial, particularly when you start applying anti-aliasing and anisotropic filtering. I've actually tried out the PC version. It's also worth noting that there is a benchmark available for the original, and the specifications haven't changed really since, so you can give that a punt as well. The benchmark is just freely available. You just download it, just Google it, and you find like several places that have it. It's a fairly good game, in honesty. Whether you want to pick up the extra costumes is up to you. Some people love the extra costumes, and they are kind of cool, but they don't really do anything. There's no power-ups or anything in them. Just for those of you who are not familiar, I would recommend the game. It is fairly balanced in terms of fighting games, apart from maybe one or two characters that are borderline, a bit too good. But overall, it's very good. And if you're looking for a title as a fighter, it's not a huge variety of it on the PC, as you may know. As recommended, it plays pretty solidly and looks quite pretty. Next one, Carrier Command Gaia mission. I checked this out on RGT, and it's 50% off, which is $15.99. It's a fairly expensive release, actually, on PC. It does pretty much everything in one game, and I know that sounds a bit of a cop-out, but it really does. You can literally command an aircraft carrier. You can become an FPS in some areas, and there's also strategy. The graphics are pretty, and it plays relatively well, but I just had a few issues. For one, I couldn't figure out if there was any way of skipping when the aircraft carrier was moving between missions. I looked for quite a while. I couldn't figure out a way to do it. Maybe I was just missing something ridiculously obvious, or maybe that was fixed in a patch. I don't know. I uninstalled it. It looks aesthetically reasonable. It doesn't score that well in terms of Metacritic and other places. You could take a punt at it. It's 15. My personal opinion, leave it alone. It's not a terrible game. It's fairly reasonable, but there are better games. And if I was going to play strategy, I'd look out for, StarCraft or something similar. And if I was going to play FPS, it wouldn't be that. It's basically what happens. So anyway, next one, Anno 2070. Yet another title I haven't actually played. This was released in November 2011, which is just short of when RGT was released, or started, shall I say. It scores fairly well, and I'm pretty sure most of you know what the title's about. Obviously you can build various bits and pieces, and it's a strategy series. It does look quite pretty as well, I must say, judging from the graphics. As I've said, I haven't personally played it, but could be worth it. It does look very, very awesome, and 60% off, $11.99. I've seen it slightly cheaper, I think. I think it might have been 75% on one of the sales. Don't quote me on that. But it's fairly reasonable, and if you're into this type of thing, it could definitely be worth checking out. I can't really give you any more details other than that. Next one, Saints Row the Third. Saints Row the Third is a good game, but I think one of the issues that THQ had as a publisher was the fact it didn't sell as well as what we expected. And as you know, THQ have now become a defunct. You can pick up the entire package of this. Now, bear in mind, that's a shit ton of DLC, pardon my French. We're talking about Genki Geri Pack, which I have no bloody idea what it is, Special Op Vehicles, the Trouble of Clones DLC, Gangsters in Space, which just sounds really odd, but fair enough, and various other bits and bobs. It's just over a year old now. It was released in November, so once again, one of the games we didn't cover on RGT. Have checked it out personally, however. It's pretty cool, is what it comes down to. It's a good game. If you're hankering for some Grand Theft Auto and you still haven't played Saints Row the Third, you can check it out. It's worth noting that it's not as serious as GTA. This one really kind of cranks up the oddness to a whole new level. Whether you want the DLC is up to you. It's worth noting that you can pick up the entire THQ collection, minus the DLC, by the way, for only $19.99, and that would include Darksiders and every other title under the sun. I'm having the difficult job to recommend this, specifically because of that. I don't know exactly how good the DLCs are. What I'd probably recommend is you check out the, DLCs and think to yourself, is it actually worth me buying these? For the most part, I personally don't give a rat's ass about, extra vehicles and stuff. I usually care more about actual content. That's just me. Anyway, what else have we got? Portal. Portal. You can pick up Portal 1 for $1.74 or Portal 2 for £3.74. Or by golly gosh, you can pick up both for £4.49. That's 75% off. I don't think much needs to be said about Portal. I think the amount of memes and everything else says about it. It's a very cool FPS puzzle game, I think is what really you can boil it down to. And some people absolutely love this game beyond life. I'll be honest, I've only played a little bit of it. I know that sounds really odd, considering, but I haven't really played that much. But there is a demo of it actually available, of Portal 1. Let me just check for Portal 2. No, there's no demo available for Portal 2 as far as I can see. But you could at least check out the demo for Portal 1. You've got 48 hours, so you'll have a while. It's worth noting that Portal 2 does look quite aesthetically pretty. For £3.74, it could be worth picking up. You might well own Portal 1, especially if you own certain orange boxes, which is the reason I own Portal 1 and not 2. Anyway, let's see what other things have we got to check over. Alright, we've done pretty much all of the, well, we have done all of today's deals, other than the flash sales. There's a couple of them that are worth noting. The Walking Dead is a community's choice. I think everyone knows about The Walking Dead by now. It's very awesome. It's based, of course, upon the TV show / comic. And for the most part, it does an absolute stellar job of encapsulating just the atmosphere of the series. It isn't a happy game, just like the books, but it is very good indeed, and in my opinion, well worth picking up. It's currently £10.49 or 50% off with the community choice. Once again, this ends a lot sooner than the other deals. It ends in about 10 hours from now. Could well be worth checking out. In my opinion, it's a very good game. There is some video, there are some videos, shall I say, on RGT, and I'd encourage you to check them out if you're unsure. It works on a moral choice, or works on a choice system, so your actions do have consequences. For example, let's say there are two characters, Bill and Bob. Bob might be alive if you choose option A, or the other character will be alive if you choose option B. So you can end up with pretty odd looking stories. It can also, of course, have an outcome upon the game's storyline to a degree. Next one, we have a few flash sales. We have Fly-In, which I have covered in an RGT video, and there's also Lone Survivor, which I believe Amata covered in an RGT video. I would highly recommend you check them out. Fly-In in particular is very difficult to describe. It's a very cool game though, and very pretty. It also features, in my opinion, perhaps one of the weirdest ways of, in terms of light and dark, you basically switch between two states, and it's very cool. It's kind of similar to Guyana Sisters in that respect. I honestly didn't expect to like it when I checked it out, if I'm honest. I thought to myself, this is not my type of game, but it was pretty cool. Yeah. So anyway, Dragon Age Ultimate Edition. This is the origin. This is not the second version of Dragon Age, which, in my opinion, and I might get some flack from this from fans, but in my opinion, Dragon Age 2 was inferior. To me, it was rushed out, and despite the fact that the combat, to a degree, was improved with the tactics, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like very close to what they wanted, but you know when not quite close enough just really messes it up, because it just doesn't work. Sometimes it has to be really perfect, or just a little bit out really messes up the experience, and that's really what Dragon Age 2's combat was like for me. In terms of the actual storyline, it felt not as polished as the original. So in my opinion, the original Dragon Age, which is this one, Origins, the Ultimate Edition, might I add, is absolutely insane. You get so much content with this. I got really far with Origins, and then something bad happened. It's called I lost my save file, and I wanted to cry. It's serious note, I can't remember what happened. If I remember correctly, that wasn't actually anything else other than I was upgrading my PC. And I remember to back up a lot of the folders for the save games, but guess what I forgot to back up? That's right. Anyway, enough of my lament. On a serious note, it's a very, very good price for this game. I've seen an Origin and some other locations, and as far as I'm aware, it does not include this amount of DLC. This amount of DLC is insane. And I can honestly say, if you bought this now, you'd probably be still on this game for quite a while. It would easily keep you going until Christmas to New Year. It's a very good title. And in my opinion, it works really well. And also, the really cool thing is you can customize your character very well. It has a few somewhat annoying areas. But overall, this is definitely one of my absolute favourite RPGs of all time, and I just encourage you to get it. It's one of BioWare's best, in my opinion. It's a really good title. If you think I'm drooling over it, I actually am. Tower Wars, I can honestly say that I've never, ever played in my life. It looks kind of cool, but I haven't played it. It's basically what it comes down to. You can buy a double pack of this for $6.49. You buy a team pack, which is basically 4 copies. Includes 3 copies for $9.49. Or you can pick up just 1 copy for £3.49. It's also part of the super mega indie pack for $50. It doesn't score that well Metacritic wise, and to be honest with you, doesn't really look my thing from the checking I've done on it. You can give it a punt. It's not particularly expensive. You're not going to break the bank, but once again, as I've said before, why buy a game if you don't like it, or it doesn't look your thing? It just wastes money, and what's the point? Clogs up Steam. There's also Stalker Pack. There's 2 of them. Call of Pripyat, I think that's how you spell it. Pripyat. I've heard it pronounced a couple of ways, and also Shadow of Chernobyl. Both are absolutely fantastic experiences. Call was released after Shadow. I don't know how to explain these. They are very, very, very merciless games. You cannot go in there and think to yourself that you're going to be Rambo within 2 minutes. You will be sorely disappointed. It also had a few issues with launch, mostly to do with the quests and stuff. There have been a few packs which basically, drastically restore the balance of the game, and to the most part improve the graphics. In my opinion, they're worth picking up. The only problem you're going to have with them is that you might find them a little bit too hardcore. The graphics have aged a little bit now, especially considering you've got games like Far Cry. But Far Cry 3, for example, kind of similar to Stalker in one respect, in that, it gives you a very open world FPS. So a little bit like Fallout, and there's a little bit of friction between fans of Stalker and Fallout, to some degree anyway. Not all the, most people actually love both series, but I'm just saying, I've heard some Stalker fans criticize Fallout in the reverse. Just like Fallout and Stalker, Far Cry was open world and FPS. However, Stalker is really hardcore. And it's a very good game to get yourself lost in. It's an incredibly good gaming experience. I've not gotten that far myself, and the only reason for that is the time to sink into the game I've just not really had. And I've tried a couple of times, but then I've just kind of stopped. This is not the kind of game where you can just jump in and get instant gratification. I've heard many people put Stalker down as one of those titles that they've tried 2 or 3 times to really get into. But they just couldn't. And after a while, they eventually just knuckled down and said, you know what, I'm just going to force myself to play this game because I know it's good. And after a little bit, they got really into it, and then they just became addicted to the game. Whether you want to pick this one up is up to you. Regardless of which, in my opinion, it could be worth checking out. It scores fairly highly, it looks very awesome, and well, it's just a cool game. As I've said, it's 75% off at the moment. It makes it a really good deal indeed. Anyway, I think that's just about every game. Let me just check. Yebs. That's all of the titles. As I've said, today's deals were iffy. I've seen better prices, to be honest, and quite a lot of the titles, to be honest with you. So, yeah. It's not terrible day. Not terrible, but I've seen far better. Before I forget, we have XCOM Enemy Unknown 50% off on Get Games Go. That's £15.99, I'm sorry. 50% off, could be worth picking up. And that's if you missed it already on Steam. And you've got Darkness 2, which is a good game. I've already mentioned about this one. Still in the same place, £4.99. You've also got Carrier Command there. I don't think you might as well get that on Steam, however. And once again, Gamefly haven't really changed their deals at all. You still got Walking Dead for the same $10.49. Max Payne 3 for $8.75, and Skyrim for $9.99, which is a pretty good deal, to be honest with you. And there are a few others like Gamersgate are doing okay deals as well. Mostly they're doing Gothic 3 and a few other titles. Could be worth checking out. They've got the Dragon Age collection, actually, coming to think of it. Let me just check on the price of that. It's $8.99. I don't actually know what the... Let me just check on that. 1 second. Let me just check on this. I forgot I had that. Actually, it's the Ultimate Edition. Now, I've got the Ultimate Edition on here, but that includes the all 9 content packs. That's fairly expensive. It's $8.99. That does give you Dragon Age 2, however, as well. So if you did want both, you can get it from Gamersgate, is basically where to go. I don't know how long the deal's on for. I don't think it's too much longer, so you could check it out. If not, get it from Steam. Finally, you've got GOG, Good Old Games. They've got Ultima Series 75% off. That's Ultima 1 to 9 and Ultima Underworld 1 to 2. That's $8.94, and that offer expires in about 20 hours. Anyway, that's it from me. I think I've covered just about everything in mind-numbing detail by now. So take care of yourselves, and bye for now.